My parents withdrew my college deposit because my sister got suspended from school. You took my college money to fix her mistakes. The words hung in the air of our cramped kitchen, sharp and accusing. My mother, Diane, flinched like I'd struck her. My father, Dominic, just stared at his coffee mug, unable to meet my eyes. Sabrina, you need to understand, Mom began, her voice that practiced calm she always used when she was about to justify something terrible. Your sister's future is at stake. My future was at stake. I slammed my hand on the table, making the salt shaker jump. I earned that scholarship. I earned that deposit money. Every single dollar. We'll pay you back, Dad mumbled into his coffee. We promise. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. With what money, Dad? You've been promising to pay me back since I was 16. Let me back up. Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm 17 years old, and today I'm going to tell you how my parents destroyed my future to save my sister from her own stupidity. But before I continue, I need you to understand something. This isn't just about money. It's about 18 years of always coming second. I never thought I'd be the person who had to choose between my family and my future. But here we are, sitting in our faded yellow kitchen on a Wednesday afternoon, and I can already feel my dreams slipping through my fingers like sand. My parents always told me that family comes first, that we stick together no matter what. I believed them. God, I believed them so completely that I spent my entire childhood watching them bail out my older sister Victoria from one disaster after another while I stayed quiet, got perfect grades, and never asked for anything. I was 17 when I finally realized the pattern would never change. It was a Wednesday afternoon in late April, when I came home from my after-school job at Barnes & Noble. I'd been working there for 2 years, saving every penny for college expenses that my partial scholarship to Westwood University wouldn't cover. The textbooks, the meal plan, the lab fees, all those hidden costs nobody warns you about. My parents were sitting at our scratched kitchen table with Victoria, who had her arms crossed and mascara-streaked tears running down her face. The dramatic crying was nothing new. Victoria had perfected the art of tears by age 12. What's going on? I asked carefully, setting my backpack down by the door. Mom looked up at me with that expression I'd seen 100 times before, the one that meant Victoria had screwed up again, and they were going to fix it. Again. Sabrina, honey, we need to have a family discussion. Those 6 words. I should have run right then. I sat down slowly in the chair across from Victoria, who still wouldn't meet my eyes. Dad cleared his throat twice, the way he always did when he was nervous. Your sister has been suspended from state college for academic dishonesty. She was caught cheating on her final exams. Again, I said before I could stop myself. Victoria's head snapped up, her eyes flashing. It wasn't my fault. Professor Martinez had it out for me. You literally submitted a paper you bought online, Dad interrupted tiredly. They have plagiarism detection software, Vicky. They showed us the proof. Mom reached across the table and squeezed Victoria's hand like she was the victim in all this. What matters now is fixing this. The college is willing to let her appeal the suspension, but she needs to attend a special summer integrity program first. It focuses on academic honesty and ethical decision-making. I waited. There was more coming. There was always more. The program costs $9,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. I felt something cold and heavy settle in my stomach, spreading through my chest. Okay, I said slowly, keeping my voice level. So she'll have to get a job and save up. Maybe take a gap year. The program starts in 3 weeks, Mom interrupted. There's no time for that. This is the only session before fall semester, and if she doesn't complete it, State College won't take her back. We're already stretched thin with the mortgage, Dad added, not meeting my eyes. And the bills from my surgery last year are still coming in. We don't have that kind of money just sitting around. I knew exactly where this was going. I'd known it from the moment I saw their faces when I walked in. No, I said firmly. Absolutely not. Mom's expression shifted to wounded confusion, like I'd said something cruel. Sabrina, we haven't even told you what we need yet. You're going to ask for my college deposit. The $4,000 I've been saving since I was 15. The money I need to secure my spot at Westwood University in the fall. The answer is no. Dad sighed heavily, rubbing his temples. Sabrina, please don't be difficult about this. We're not asking for all of it. You're asking for any of it, and the answer is no. I was standing now, though I didn't remember getting up. That's my money. I earned it. Every single dollar came from my job, my birthday money, my graduation gifts from Grandma before she died. You didn't contribute a single penny. Victoria finally spoke, her voice shaking with manufactured emotion. So you're just going to let my entire future fall apart? I'll lose my spot at state. I'll lose everything. You should have thought about that before you cheated, I shot back. This is the third time you've been caught, Vicky. Third time. You got caught cheating in high school, and Mom and Dad convinced Principal Howard to let you graduate anyway. You got caught cheating freshman year at state, and they paid for a lawyer to appeal it. Now you're doing it again, and you expect everyone to just keep cleaning up your messes. That's not fair. Victoria stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the linoleum. You don't know what it's like to struggle in school. Everything comes so easy to you. Perfect grades, perfect SAT scores, perfect little Sabrina who never needs anything from anyone. I don't need anything because I work for everything I have. I've had a job since I was 15, I continued, my voice rising. I tutor other students for extra cash. I volunteer at the library on weekends to beef up my college applications. I do all of that while maintaining a 4.0 GPA because I know nobody's going to hand me anything. Unlike you. Girls, please, Mom tried to intervene, reaching for both of us. No, Mom. I'm done. I grabbed my backpack. My deposit is due in 2 weeks. That money stays in my account, or I won't have a spot at Westwood. They made it very clear, no deposit, no enrollment. It's a binding agreement. Dad's voice turned stern, the tone he only used when he was about to pull rank. Sabrina, we are not asking you. We are telling you. This is a family emergency. Then treat it like one, I said, backing toward the door. Sell something. Take out a loan. Ask Uncle Dennis for help. He's always offering. But you're not taking my future to fix Victoria's mistakes. I went upstairs and locked my bedroom door, my hand shaking so badly I could barely turn the key. I could hear them arguing downstairs, Victoria crying, Mom trying to play peacemaker, Dad's voice getting louder and more frustrated. This was my life. This had always been my life, and I was tired of pretending it was normal. 2 days later, I checked my bank account during lunch period at school. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might throw up right there in the cafeteria. The balance showed $1,247. My $4,000 college deposit was gone, along with most of my emergency fund. My hands trembled as I dialed the bank, walking quickly to the parking lot for privacy. First National Bank, how may I help you? There's been a mistake, I said, my voice shaking. Someone withdrew money from my account without my permission. I need to report fraud. Let me pull up your account. Can I have your account number? I rattled it off, pacing beside my car. I see a withdrawal of $4,000 on April 20th, made at our downtown branch. The transaction was authorized with the account's joint holder signature. Joint holder. My voice came out as a whisper. I'm the only person on this account. According to our records, Diane Monroe is listed as a joint account holder. She opened the account with you when you were 15, as you were a minor at the time and legally required to have an adult cosigner. The parking lot seemed to tilt. I'd forgotten. When I'd opened the account 3 years ago, I'd been too young to have one in just my name. Mom had to be on it. I'd been meaning to change it when I turned 18 last month, but I'd been drowning in AP exams and college preparations and graduation planning. She stole my money, I said quietly, more to myself than to the bank representative. If she's an authorized joint holder, it's not technically theft from a legal or banking perspective. I hung up without saying goodbye. I sat in my car in the school parking lot and cried for 10 minutes, ugly sobbing that made my chest hurt. Then I dried my eyes, fixed my makeup in the rearview mirror, and made a plan. I didn't go home that night. Instead, I drove to my best friend Natalie's house. Her parents, Greg and Susan, had always treated me like a third daughter alongside Natalie and her younger sister. When I showed up at their door at 6 p.m. with red eyes and a duffel bag, Susan immediately pulled me inside. "What happened?" Natalie demanded, steering me to the couch. I told them everything. About Victoria's suspension, the program, my parents' demand, and finally, the theft. The word felt heavy in my mouth, even though the bank said it wasn't technically theft. Greg's expression turned thunderous. "They can't do this," he said firmly. "Apparently they can," I said bitterly. "Mom's name is on the account. Legally, she had every right to take that money." Susan sat beside me and took my hand. "What do you need, sweetheart?" "A place to stay until I figure this out. If I go home, I'm going to say something I can't take back. Or worse, I'll forgive them, and this will happen again." "The guest room is yours," Greg said immediately. "Stay as long as you need." My phone had been buzzing non-stop in my pocket. Finally, I took it out and listened to the voicemails on speaker. Dad's voice came through first, trying to sound reasonable. "Sabrina, you're being overdramatic. Come home so we can discuss this like adults. We'll pay you back once Victoria gets through her program and finds a part-time job." The next message was from Mom, tearful and manipulative. "Sweetheart, you're breaking my heart. We are a family. Family helps each other. Why are you being so selfish about this? We raised you better." The last one was from Victoria, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Thanks for nothing, Sabrina. I hope you're happy knowing you almost destroyed my life over some stupid money. Mom and Dad had to borrow from their retirement fund to make up the difference for my program. Real nice. Real mature." I deleted all of them without responding. The next morning, I went to the bank and opened a completely new account, one with only my name on it. I transferred my remaining $1,247 and formally closed the joint account. Then I went to work at Barnes & Noble for my Saturday shift. My supervisor, Mrs. Patterson, was a sharp-eyed woman in her 60s who'd known me since I was 14 and first applied for the job. When I showed up looking exhausted despite my makeup, she pulled me into her office. "What happened?" she asked gently. I told her everything. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment, studying me with those knowing eyes that had seen decades of human behavior. "How short are you for your deposit?" she finally asked. "I need $4,000. I have $1,247. The deadline is in 11 days. Mrs. Patterson opened her desk drawer and pulled out her checkbook. My throat tightened. "I'm going to lend you $3,000, she said, writing carefully. "Not give, lend. You're going to pay me back after you graduate and get a good job. No interest, but there's a condition." "Mrs. Patterson, I can't." "Yes, you can." She tore out the check and held it just out of my reach. "The condition is this: you're going to succeed. You're going to go to Westwood University. You're going to work hard, and you're going to build a life that makes you happy. And you're going to stop letting other people treat you like you're less important than you are. Do we have a deal?" I took the check with trembling hands, staring at the number written in her careful script. "I'll pay you back. Every penny. I swear." "I know you will, honey. Now go call that college and secure your spot." I made it work. Between Mrs. Patterson's loan, my savings, and an advance on my next 2 paychecks, I submitted my deposit online that afternoon. Westwood University confirmed my enrollment within an hour. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell Victoria. I stayed at Natalie's house and went to work and graduation practice, pretending everything was fine while my family blew up my phone. Graduation day was a nightmare I'd been dreading for weeks. My parents showed up early, of course, with Victoria trailing behind them in a dress that was way too tight. Mom tried to hug me before the ceremony in the school parking lot. "Sabrina, please, we need to talk about this. You can't keep avoiding us forever." "There's nothing to talk about," I said, stepping back before she could touch me. "You made your choice." "We didn't have a choice." Dad's voice rose, and several other families turned to stare. "Your sister needed help. And I needed parents who kept their promises." I cut him off. "Guess we are both disappointed." Victoria grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. "You're being such a brat about this. Mom and Dad said they'd pay you back. Why can't you just accept that and move on?" I yanked my arm away. "Get your hand off me." My voice was ice cold. "You've been getting bailed out your entire life, and it's made you into someone who can't take responsibility for anything. I'm done being the backup plan when your choices blow up in your face." She jerked back like I'd physically struck her. "You think you're so much better than me?" "I think I'm someone who actually faces consequences for my actions. You should try it sometime." I walked away and joined my classmates in the staging area. I didn't look back at them during the entire ceremony. When they called my name and announced my full-ride scholarship to Westwood University, including room and board, I heard confused whispers from where my family was sitting. They hadn't known. I'd never told them about winning the additional merit scholarships, afraid they'd find some way to ruin that too. After the ceremony, Dad found me near the refreshment table, his face red and confused. "Sabrina, what was that announcement about a full scholarship? I thought you only had a partial scholarship." "I did have a partial," I said, not looking at him as I poured punch into a plastic cup. "Then I applied for additional merit scholarships on my own. I won 3 of them. Full ride now, tuition, room, board, books. Everything covered. I won't need any help from you." Mom appeared beside him, her face crumpling in that way that used to make me feel guilty. "You didn't tell us. We're your parents, Sabrina. We deserve to know. Parents don't steal from their children. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Mom. You taught me that when you chose Victoria over me." I saw Natalie's family waving me over for photos. "I have to go." "When are you leaving for college?" Dad asked desperately, reaching for my arm. 3 days. Early orientation program for scholarship students. 3 days. Mom's voice went shrill. "Where are you staying until then? You haven't been home in almost 3 weeks." "I've been staying with people who actually care about my future. Goodbye." I walked away and didn't look back, even when I heard Mom start to cry. The summer integrity program Victoria attended was apparently a disaster. I heard through my cousin Amanda, who loved drama and couldn't keep a secret to save her life, that Victoria had been expelled from the program halfway through for arguing with instructors and refusing to complete assignments. My parents lost the entire $9,000, plus the retirement money they'd borrowed. State College upheld Victoria's suspension and refused to readmit her for the fall semester. Meanwhile, my parents' financial situation spiraled. Dad's hours got cut at his job at the warehouse. The medical bills from his surgery were still piling up with interest. Mom's Honda broke down and needed a new transmission they couldn't afford. They'd been counting on Victoria finishing her degree and getting a good job to help support the family eventually. Now that plan was dust. Victoria moved back home and couldn't find work beyond part-time cashier jobs, which she got fired from repeatedly for showing up late. She blamed everyone but herself, the university for being too strict, the program for being poorly run, me for not helping with money. She spent most of her time on my parents' couch, scrolling through her phone. I knew all this because Amanda kept me updated even though I'd asked her not to. "They keep asking about you," Amanda told me during a video call in September. "Your mom cries every time someone mentions your name. Your dad looks like he aged 10 years. They thought you'd forgive them by now." They thought I'd just get over them stealing my future to enable Victoria's irresponsibility, I corrected coldly. "That's not forgiveness they're expecting, that's permission to do it again." In October, Mom called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Sabrina. Her voice was thick with tears. Please, we need to talk. Can you come home for Thanksgiving? Please, baby, I'm begging you. No, I said simply. Please. We made a mistake, okay? We should have handled things differently. We should have asked you properly. You shouldn't have stolen from me at all, I interrupted, keeping my voice level and calm. There's no differently about it. You knew my deposit deadline. You knew how hard I'd worked for that money. You took it anyway because you've spent Victoria's entire life teaching her that other people will fix her problems. She's struggling, Sabrina. Mom's voice broke. She's depressed. She won't get out of bed most days. She needs help. She needs therapy, not another bailout, I said. She needs to learn that actions have consequences. You can't keep saving her from herself. You used to be such a compassionate person, Mom said quietly, and I could hear the accusation beneath the words. What happened to you? When did you become so cold? I grew up, I replied. I realized that compassion without boundaries is just enabling. I'm done being the family ATM and emotional support animal for people who only care about me when they need something. Mom's voice turned sharp and bitter. So you're just going to abandon your family? Is that what we raised you to do? Turn your back on the people who love you? You raised me to believe that family was supposed to support each other, I said. Then you showed me that only applies when it's convenient for you. I learned the lesson, just not the one you intended. I hung up before she could respond. By December, I heard that my parents were 3 months behind on their mortgage. Dad had picked up a second job delivering for DoorDash on weekends, but it wasn't enough. Victoria had been fired from another retail job for attitude problems. They'd asked Uncle Dennis for money, and he'd refused. Amanda had apparently told him the whole story, and he was disgusted with how they'd treated me. I spent Thanksgiving with Natalie's family and Christmas with Mrs. Patterson, who invited me to her house with her children and grandchildren. They welcomed me like I belonged there, like I mattered. I was happy. Genuinely happy for the first time in years. I was thriving at Westwood. My grades were excellent, 4.0 GPA my first semester. I'd made close friends, joined the Student Government Association, and started working part-time at the campus bookstore. I'd been paying Mrs. Patterson back $50 a month, and she'd smiled and told me there was no rush to focus on my studies. My parents sent cards during the holidays. I didn't open them. Now, sitting here in my dorm room in January, I think about that question Mom asked me. What happened to me? When did I become so cold? The truth is, I'm not cold. I'm just done being set on fire to keep other people warm. So here's my question for you. If your parents sacrificed your future to fix a sibling's self-inflicted problems, would you ever forgive them? Or would you cut ties permanently, like I did? What would you do?